I'm gonna do this. I was curious about this.
Reddit calls itself the front page of the internet, but scroll deep enough and you'll find horrible communities that feel more like the dark web. Today we'll look at some of the worst groups Reddit has ever seen. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality. To do that, we gotta keep growing. So 68% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you did, and I promise to give you more fire content. I'm Visual Venture, you are awesome. r/shoplifting. Most people feel guilty when they steal, but this subreddit turned stealing into something to be proud of. The subreddit was called Shoplifting.
Isn't that stupid? Like, why would you post about your crimes?
Showing what to wear so security
Are you subscribed?
wouldn't notice you
No!
stealing. Another post explained how to remove security tags, and one listed the stores that were easiest to shoplift from. They weren't just teaching you how to steal, they were encouraging it. But soon, things started getting messy. Since anyone could join, a few people showed up just to post warnings. They tried to talk sense into the group, explaining how shoplifting was wrong. But the others didn't want to hear it. They wanted to feel good about
Echo
breaking
chamber.
the law. So the subreddit cracked down hard. They made strict rules. The first rule was called moralizing. Here's how they explained it. Stealing is bad.
How dare
Again,
you?
nothing else needs to be said about it, and we are all right with the morality of our actions. They even called themselves a wonderful community of allegedly corrupt and soulless individuals. This meant no preaching, no guilt tripping, no criticizing shoplifters. If you broke that rule, your post got deleted and you got banned. No second chances. But moralizing was just one rule out of 6. Another rule was about pictures. Members posted pictures of the stuff they stole: groceries, makeup, electronics, anything they could get their hands on. But the moderators wanted the pictures to be educational, so they made a rule called lack of information. It said all posts must now include a short description on how the items were lifted. Violation is removal of post. Then there was rule 6. It was about violence. Advocating violence is unacceptable. We might have criminal intent, but there is no desire to physically harm another person. The subreddit was like a support group for thieves, and members were genuinely happy. One even wrote, "This feels like a best friend group chat. I love you all so much." As messed up as that sounds, the community kept growing. At its peak, it had over 77,000 members. But soon, people outside the group started hearing about it. Major vlogs and news sites picked up the story. Obviously, the general public wasn't okay with a community teaching 77,000 people how to shoplift. Reddit had to step in. In 2018, Reddit updated its content policy. They added a new rule that banned users from promoting stolen goods. The shoplifting subreddit clearly broke that rule. So in March 2018, Reddit shut it down permanently. The subreddit lasted 9 years before getting banned. And in that time, it probably helped thousands of people get into shoplifting. This next group tried to do something good, but they ended up making a mess.
Oh no.
r/Classic
Reddit.
Boston
No!
Suspects.
Okay, this is a classic.
For the sake of YouTube, we'll be calling the subreddit Find Boston Suspects, not the other word. In April 2013, a tragedy hit America hard. It happened during the Boston Marathon. Thousands were running through the streets. Suddenly, explosions went off near the finish line. Dozens were injured and some didn't make it. The FBI launched an investigation to find out who was responsible.
Make no mistake, we will get to the bottom of this.
But while the feds worked the case, some people on Reddit thought they could solve it faster than the cops. So they created a subreddit called Find Boston Suspects. But instead of helping, they became the internet's worst detectives. The group started by analyzing photos from the event.
Much of the activity on this page involved Redditors scanning over blurry and grainy images that were taken from the Boston Marathon.
The fucking MS Paint circles.
They zoomed in on backpacks. They circled random faces. They looked for anything suspicious. Then they started pointing fingers with very little proof. Their first suspect was a 17-year-old runner named Salah. Members of the subreddit were convinced that Salah and his coach looked suspicious. The coach had a backpack which they thought contained the devices. So the group spread their photos online, accusing them of being the suspects. Even the New York Post put Salah and his coach on the front page. But there was a big problem. Salah was completely innocent. He was so scared for his safety that he went straight to the police police to clear his name. Luckily, he was able to prove that he had nothing to do with the incident. But the
Poor
fine
guy.
Boston suspects community wasn't done causing trouble. On April 18th, 2013, the FBI released photos of the real suspects. But there was another problem. The photos were blurry, so the faces were hard to make out. And once again, the subreddit didn't wait. They rushed to blame someone else. The subreddit compared the blurry FBI photos to random people on social media. That's when someone brought up a man named Sunil. Sunil was a 22-year-old student who went missing a month before the incident. And just like that, the group decided he must be one of the suspects. They posted his name, they shared his photos, and they spread the accusation across the internet. To them, Sunil wasn't missing, he was hiding.
Police believe this new image from a surveillance camera shows the 22-year-old just moments after leaving his campus apartment.
Sunil's family
Dang,
created
you
a
go on the news
Facebook
and
page
stuff.
to find him. But after the rumor spread, that page was flooded with hate. They accused the family of hiding a terrorist. The harassment was so bad that the family deleted the Facebook page. Somehow, that only made things worse. Now, people were sure they were hiding something. Even journalists started repeating the rumor. One phrase started trending, "We did it, Reddit." It was what people said when Reddit cracked a big case.
People
But
still
they
do
were
that.
completely wrong. On April 19th, the truth came out. The FBI found the real suspects and arrested them. Sunil was innocent. The Find Boston Suspects subreddit destroyed his reputation for nothing. After the truth came out, Sunil's family was furious. Reddit later apologized to Sunil's family. Then they banned the Find Boston Suspects subreddit. But it was too late. Because of a wild internet humor, his family was humiliated.
We, knew unconvincingly that this was not Sunil, and it was just very difficult to have the events of that night unfold so aggressively.
Sadly, the story didn't end there. Even though everyone now knew Sunil had nothing to do with the incident, he was still missing. Just days later, police found Sunil lifeless near his school. That meant he wasn't even alive when the incident happened. The Find Boston
That's
Suspects
so
subreddit
fucked.
didn't conduct an investigation. They led
That's
a
crazy.
witch
And the
hunt.
people that
It was
posted
horrible
just
that
have no
two innocent
consequences.
people were tracked down as if they were suspects. But surprisingly, this stuff happens every day. And it could easily happen to us because data brokers sell our personal information online.
Is this
You
an
can go
ad?
to any data broker website right now and buy anyone's data, which to me is honestly insane. And if they buy yours, they have access to your personal information.
This is
So
an
this
ad.
actually happened to me. Some messed up people
NordVPN.
found my information online, and long story short, it was a mess. After that, I tried removing my data from every website 14r/JB. For the sake of our channel staying safe from the YouTube hammer, we'll be calling this subreddit JB. The JB subreddit was full of creeps. Urban Dictionary defines JB as a girl who is too young, but still seen as attractive. From that definition alone, it's obvious what this community
Wait,
was
they
about.
let there
Members
be a
of this
sub
group
like
posted
that?
suggestive photos of young females. A lot of the images were stolen from Instagram, Facebook, and school websites. Some were even taken with hidden cameras. What these men were doing was disgusting, but they weren't hiding it, not even a little.
Was this
In fact,
recent?
JB was famous.
The subreddit was extremely popular on the website. So popular that it even won
No.
Subreddit of the Year in 2008 via user poll.
Let that sink in. JB won subreddit of the year. That means people actively voted for it. At one
Ew.
point, JB was the second most searched term on Reddit. That brings up the obvious question. How did Reddit
Moxie
allow
is
this community to
disgusted.
exist? When Reddit first
Yeah, that's
launched,
what I
there were
just
barely
said.
any rules. Users could post almost anything as long as it wasn't illegal. That's because Reddit's founders believed in free speech, and they defended that belief even when it came to JB.
Reddit's general manager at the time, Eric Martin, said that while he was disturbed by this group, it's not the place of Reddit to censor the users.
Reddit bosses said having to stomach questionable subreddits like JB are part of the price of free speech on a
Well,
site
look
like
how it
this.
all turned
Surprisingly,
out.
many people agreed.
And
They
now
were
they don't
scared that if
allow
Reddit
it
banned
anymore.
one community, it would start banning more, and that would kill free speech on the site. But then CNN got involved, and things got more complicated. In September 2011, a CNN reporter called Reddit out on national TV. He criticized them for hosting a community full of creeps. That report turned millions of people against JB and Reddit. You would think that would get JB banned, but the opposite happened. The CNN spotlight made JB more popular. The very next day, JB got 1.7 million views in a single day. That was the most attention the group ever received. JB seemed
God.
untouchable. Then one post brought everything crashing down. In October 2011, someone uploaded a new picture to the group, but the real problem wasn't the photo. It was a comment underneath it. The user claimed they had content of the same girl, and they were willing to share it in private messages. Dozens of members reached out to him asking for the files. The post stayed up long enough for people to screenshot it, and those screenshots spread beyond Reddit. That was the final straw. That was an actual crime. That night, Reddit banned JB.
Wow,
By 8
what a
p.m.
surprise.
Eastern time, anyone
Borderline
who tried
crime
accessing
turns
the
into
subreddit
real
saw
crime.
this
Who would've
message.
thought?
The subreddit has been shut
Yo,
down
Leon,
due to
thank you for
threatening the
30
structural
months.
integrity of the greater Reddit community. For some, the ban was long overdue. For others, it felt like the end of free speech. But looking back, it's obvious what JB really was. A community that normalized terrible behavior. This next Reddit community seemed like a joke, but they caused real pain to lots of innocent people. r/Herman Kane Award. This group was accused of mocking the dead. It was like they celebrated when someone passed away. Sounds
What the
insane,
fuck?
but if you understand how the group started,
I haven't
it
heard of
begins
this
to
either.
make sense. The subreddit was called Herman Kane Award. It was named after US politician Herman Kane. In early 2020,
Okay.
Herman Kane called the COVID pandemic fake news. Herman Kane kept attending crowded events. Weeks later, in July 2020, Herman Kane got sick and passed away soon after. 2 months later, the Herman Kane Award subreddit was created, but it wasn't made to honor how he lived. It was created to mock how he died. The goal of the subreddit was simple. It shared stories of people who denied COVID and then got infected and didn't survive. Each post followed a formula. You'd see a screenshot of someone downplaying the pandemic or refusing the vaccine. Then you'd get an update from the same person announcing they've caught the flu. And the last
how
screenshot
could you-
revealed the person's fate. If the person
How do you,
survived
like,
the illness, the
celebrate
post
that,
was
though? That's
labeled
fucked.
nominated. If they changed their mind and got vaccinated, it was labeled
Yeah, that
redemption.
sucks.
And if
That's
they passed
too
away,
bad.
they were awarded. That meant they received the so-called Herman Kane Award. By 2021, the media heard about the Herman Kane Award, and they called out the subreddit for being heartless. Families who lost someone would come online only to find their loved one turned into Reddit content.
But by maintaining a subreddit like this, you're cheering for it, right? You want the next story to come in. And beyond that, it's just incredibly disrespectful for the mourning families.
The subreddit's defenders said it wasn't about celebrating death. To them, it was about showing the danger of misinformation.
They only award people, right, giving the Herman Kane Award to people
Yeah, surely that's the
who were
reason most
actively
people enjoyed the
propagating,
post.
spreading, and parading extreme misinformation.
Members of the group took things too far. They tracked down grieving family members on Facebook. Then they sent nasty messages mocking the deceased relatives. It was like they were intentionally trying to cause pain. By that point, the subreddit started to seem more like a mob. The harassment got so bad that the subreddit's moderators had to intervene. They issued warnings and banned members who harassed grieving family members.
didn't the mods
However, many
make it?
members
So they're
didn't
like,
see
"Oh,
anything
no,
wrong with the
stop.
harassment. It became
Don't
a
do
huge
this."
debate within the group. Today, this subreddit is still active and it has about 500,000 members. To some, it's a wake-up call. To
That's
most,
crazy.
it's none other than harassment. This next subreddit
That's
was so
fucked.
bad it caught the attention of federal agents. r/Darknet Markets.
The FBI has seized control of a controversial website which made buying drugs as easy as going to the store.
In October 2013, the FBI shut down Silk Road. It was a website where people bought illegal stuff like substances, fake IDs, and stolen credit cards. People even ordered hitmen on Silk Road. If you want to know more about this website, check out the whole documentary I created about it. When Silk Road disappeared, it left a vacuum. Thousands of people were
So they just
searching for the
put it
next
on
place
Reddit
to get
or-
illegal goods. So someone
or that
created a
FBI
Reddit
could
group
see?
to solve that problem. It was called Darknet Markets. Darknet Markets didn't sell anything illegal, but it told you where to find it. The group was where dealers, hackers, and cyber criminals would hang out and talk about what happened on illicit marketplaces. If someone wanted to buy substances online, all they had to do was scroll through the subreddit, and they would find recommendations on the best places to buy from. It even had tutorials on how to spot undercover cops and how to buy illegal stuff without leaving a paper trail. And it wasn't a small group. The subreddit grew to 160,000
Bro.
members. But with that many people, they weren't exactly flying under the radar. By 2015,
How many of
federal
those were
agents
law
heard about the group,
enforcement?
so they started monitoring, waiting for one person to slip up so they could
working.
swoop in. In 2015, the feds made a move. They sent Reddit an order demanding personal information for 5 members of the Darknet Markets group. Those users were linked to a new black market called Evolution, and the FBI wanted to arrest them. Reddit Reddit wouldn't say if they gave the FBI the information or not. They stayed totally silent. After the request, the community panicked. People stopped posting, activity dropped fast. Then in 2018, 3 years after the FBI's request, Reddit updated its policy. The new policy banned users from promoting illegal goods and services. Darknet Markets was clearly breaking that rule. So in March 2018, Reddit banned them. This next subreddit created a problem for the entire world. r/deepfakes.
Oh
This
God,
subreddit changed
no,
the internet
ew.
forever, but not in a good way. The group was created by a Reddit user who went by the name Deepfakes.
I
In
don't
2017,
understand
he
why.
discovered
So,
a creepy new way
in
to
South
use
Korea,
AI.
it's
He would
illegal.
take the
Why is it
faces
not
of
illegal
female
other
celebrities and
places
put
yet?
them onto adult videos. The results were so realistic, people thought the videos were real.
It's very difficult to convince people
is
that
now?
that isn't
Okay,
you, because
I
if
didn't
it
know
looks
that.
like you, it might
Wait,
as
since
well
when?
be you.
Soon, the Reddit user created a Reddit community to show off his work. He named it after himself, Deepfakes. And once again, for the
Yesterday,
sake of
yeah,
YouTube, we'll be
surely.
calling it Fakes. Within
Wait,
2
actually,
months, the
yesterday?
subreddit had 15,000
Wait,
members.
actually,
The
literally
group was
yesterday?
filled with AI
Oh.
videos of
I
celebrities.
thought y'all were
But
fucking
soon,
with me.
people didn't just want to
Oh.
watch celebrities.
Well,
they uploaded photos
that's
of
good.
real people they knew and asked for
Yeah,
AI
'cause
videos
I was like,
of
how
them.
is that not
Some
illegal?
stuff that I saw
yet?
online was people requesting deepfakes of their sister so that they can use that to blackmail them, requesting deepfakes of family members, of their teachers.
What the
Naturally,
fuck?
that wasn't
Ew!
enough, too.
What is
The
wrong
members
with
wanted to
people?
learn how to make the fake videos themselves. At this point, Fakes was no longer one guy's username. It became the term for inappropriate videos made using AI.
The term was born in Reddit when members of a group called Deepfake used AI to put celebrities' faces on actors.
But making fakes was hard. You needed a powerful computer and coding skills, but that was about to change. In 2018, a member of the subreddit released a software called FakeApp. FakeApp made creating fakes as easy as clicking a few buttons. Just
my God,
upload
it's
a picture
Tom
and let the
Cruise.
AI do the rest. Now anyone could make a fake. FakeApp spread
It's
like
called Take It
wildfire
Down
far
Act.
beyond Reddit. On January 24th, 2018, a blog published an article exposing the subreddit. They pretty much blamed the group for kickstarting the AI video epidemic. The article went viral. People were furious and Reddit couldn't ignore it anymore. 2 weeks later, Reddit banned the fake subreddit. They also uploaded their policy to ban all involuntary inappropriate content. However, it was too late. Even after the ban, FakeApp continued to spread. And today, fakes blackmail is still a huge problem online.
It says, yippee! Trump just signed the Take It Down Act into law criminalizing accidental sharing of blah blah and AI deepfakes. They must delete it within 48 hours or face penalties with jail time. Wait, that's a W, actually.
This next subreddit turned tragedy into
Finally!
entertaining content. r/watch people die. Watch People Die, or WPD,
I've heard
is
of this one.
exactly
This
what it
one's so
sounded
bad.
like. It was a community where members could watch real videos of people losing their lives. The subreddit started in 2012, and the content was disturbing. Members claimed the group showed the unfiltered reality of death. But why would anyone want to watch that? One member said it wasn't a place where we laugh and make fun of people's deaths. The reason we keep coming back is because it really shows us how precious life is. Another claimed that watching workplace
I don't know if you have to
accidents
watch
made them
stuff
more
like
careful
that
on the
to-
job. But that
to
didn't
learn.
change the fact that it operated like a page filled with shock, full of videos of ordinary people losing their lives. At first, Reddit ignored WPD's shocking content. Then, in September 2018, Reddit placed the group under quarantine. That meant WPD's posts were hidden from Reddit's front page. Only the group's members could see the content. Even in quarantine, WPD kept growing. By 2019, it had more than 400,000 members. However, with the kind of
understand.
content being shared, it
Why
was
would
only a
you
matter
wanna
of time
see
before
that?
WPD got in trouble. And that moment came in March 2019. In March 2019, a tragedy in New Zealand led to multiple fatalities. The attacker live streamed the incident on Facebook, and the footage quickly spread across the internet. Eventually, it reached the WPD subreddit. This was exactly the kind of video WPD existed for, so they posted it. But the footage was too graphic. And out of respect for the victims and their families, Facebook, Instagram, Instagram and YouTube scrubbed it from their platforms. But WPD didn't. While other sites took it down, WPD kept the video up, and people were furious. Internet users begged WPD to remove it out of respect for the grieving families. But WPD didn't listen. Instead, they locked the thread. Then they posted this message: the video stays up until someone censors us. The video is being scrubbed from major social media platforms, but hopefully Reddit believes in letting you decide for yourself whether or not you want to see unfiltered reality. At that point, it was WPD versus the world. Since WPD wouldn't budge, people put pressure on Reddit. And this time the pressure worked. A few hours after WPD posted that message.
Dude, why are so many Reddit mods like, it's my duty to spread this? It's like, oh my god.
Reddit banned WPD. The ban was for posting content that incites or glorifies violence. The ban was a long time coming because turning people's final moments into content was just disrespectful. These Reddit communities didn't just exist. They grew because people kept watching. But when you constantly look at the worst parts of the internet, it starts to feel normal. So my friends, protect your sense of what's right and wrong, because once you lose it, it's hard to get it back. Visual venture. Wait, before you go, make sure you guys check out my other video on the internet's most disturbing fandoms right here. Thank you guys for everything. Peace.